So I gotta be honest, this episode of An Archdemon's Dilemma was a triple, quadruple, it was a whammy of an episode. I assumed that our boy, best boy, I was hoping would become grandpa, but things were looking unlikely, didn't just simply kill the dad and was a horrible person. There was a misunderstanding. So the reveal that he ate the flesh because of after them fighting demons, it's like, okay, we knew there was going to be something. But there actually was a lot of like, okay, the obvious thing happened, he wasn't actually a bad guy, but here's 4 or 5 moments that you're not gonna see coming. Turns out, the whole relationship with the church, and based on my comment section, what I've been reading, most people agree that, oh, he was trying to revolt against the church, go against them. And it turns out, it's more of, there was definitely a bad apple, but it's actually, we need to bring the church, and the humans, and the sorcerers together for a common enemy. The demons. Okay, that's really interesting. That gives a more like long-term goal for a narrative. That's really cool. And then just every step of the way, from I've seen so many anime where my boy comes into that church. Turns out that guy's actually a scumbag. Fooled me. He seemed really genuine in terms of wanting to help Shastiel. Okay, he's gonna kill him, right? He always gets stopped. These characters always get stopped, and he actually committed to the kill. I'm thinking, okay, I mean, if you're gonna kill him off, that's a hell of a way to kill him off, man. Like, my boy can't make it back, that's fine. And just every step of the way, I'm left saying, I expected him not to be a bad guy because it was obvious, but then they had all these extra tricks up their sleeves that made me go, pew! What a crazy... This could have been a season finale. Nothing else. They could have literally rolled credits and had, hopefully, season 2 happens. Because this literally felt like a season finale. Let's see how they wrap it up next week. Of course, I have full live reactions over on my Patreon to all these Archdemon Dilemma episodes. If you want to see my full link of thoughts, it's going to be over there exclusively. So, this is why we don't encourage revenge. We could have easily killed someone who was a complete, lovable guy. The biggest shocker is actually why he killed everyone he's killed. It is hilarious. He's never drawn his blade once first. The first time he did was when he killed that church scumbag. He thought he has no social skills. I was laughing in front of him. Why did they draw their blades? Buddy literally is so blunt and to the point and so menacing that people attacked him because they thought he was going to jump their ass. And then he had to kill them in self-defense. His body count for all these people that he's killed is because of self-defense. I did not see that coming at all. So why, when you met me, did you ask me how many sorcerers did I kill? Well, I had to make sure you weren't like me and had a lot of blood on your hands. Like, this guy's just amazing. Literally, as I'm watching, I'm saying make him a butler, a bodyguard, or a gardener. One of those 3. And then I was convinced they actually killed him off. After he killed that church bastard, I thought he was dead. And it turns out, no, we saved his ass. And not only that, 4 gave him a prosthetic arm. That was so cool. The group we've built is just fantastic. Like, it sucks that she has to go back to the church, but here's the thing this whole episode was about. It's not about burning the church to the ground, it's about changing things, and we have 2 characters. She can be the bridge on the church side, and he can be the bridge on the sorcerer side, to bring them together to fight common enemies, which is demons. And that's a really interesting hook for a long-term narrative, as the core idea of this family building and bonding and doing all these adventures will be the immediate focus as the bigger plot lines build in the future. This is a very intelligent episode that shifts the focus and narrative of the long-term vision of this show, while still remaining true, which is the building family between husband, wife, and now adoptive daughter. We have Uncle, who's going to be tagging along with Shastiel to be kind of like the bodyguard, makes sense, and now we have a butler, which is just going to be wholesome as heck. The fact that you have so many moments like 4 actually calling her by her name and saying, please come again. There's so much development that it really does feel like I left feeling satisfied with the season, yet they're still giving me one more episode next week, which is fantastic. I have seen some people say they're not a huge fan of the production of the show and that it's pretty mediocre. I personally disagree, but I can see where people can come from because there is a lot of simplistic movements and art directions that they'll go with. But I personally love how it looks and it's never bothered me. My only issue when it comes to the production is the OST is actually really good, but it's weird some of the songs they'll use in moments that make no sense. When they were fighting that demon, the soundtrack that they used was something that you would play going through a whimsical forest or reading in a library, yet it was the action music. It was just jarring because they blast it so loud and it almost overwhelms like the voices, but it's not like intense music, and it just is so weird when they use that type of stuff for action. That's literally my only complaint for this show. Which does say a lot, that I'm just not a fan of how they use music for battles and more intense scenes, because it just doesn't feel like intense music. You know you have a good anime on your hands when that's really the biggest criticism you can give. But I'm just so happy with this episode. It was shocking in all the right ways, and it reveals in a way that it's like, oh, it's not just simply about revealing that it was a misunderstanding with the father's death, it's a misunderstanding of the long-term story. And it's so interesting to look at this show now after leaving this episode versus how I was looking at it leaving, say, last week's episode and the episodes prior. The way they've incorporated a bigger narrative while staying true to the essence has made this show so fun. The bond between Nephi and Zagan and add in 4 and just everything we're seeing. This family is so great, but it's going to be bigger than just that bond, which is why a character like Shastiel has to go back to the church, because she is going to be that bridge. And the fact that we actually killed the scumbag who needed to be killed, as Beth's grandpa gets a prosthetic dragon arm, is fantastic. I am so glad I jumped aboard this show. It's just, this needs a season 2 announcement as soon as it wraps up. There's no hopefully in the, no, like it does. But here's the thing. Should we have to wait for an announcement? Whatever they do next week, even if they cliffhanger us for days, all these crazy plot threads, I really feel like this episode serves as the, wow, this season had a capstone. It feels, we tied that bow, the cherry on top, because it just feels like we're leaving all the characters we need to in a satisfying way. But yes, let's see what episode 12 does bring, but no matter what, I really feel like I can leave this season as happy as I really can be, all things considered. Let me know what you thought down below, because I really thought this was a twist and turn of an episode. You expect that the dragon death, the father's death, was a misunderstanding, but everything that happens with, like, who's actually bad, his fate, oh my god, didn't see it, it just felt like it was a whiplash in all the right ways. But thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we have Saint Liam, Pearl Luminum, Kaiser Sani, Lady Killdragon, Matthew Perzu, and Kaku. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.